Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so we're back here once again tonight, smashing out another PC build for Christmas. Yay. So all the Christmas presents are rolling in this time of year, which is to be expected. So this is another lucky young lad who's getting himself an RTX gaming PC for Christmas.
Those are lucky young girls.
I know, right? I know. I think it's the boys that cry the loudest. Alrighty, so let's just get right into it here tonight. So we've got the Ryzen 5600G for our CPU. We've got the Msi B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. We have the RTX 2060, the Asus dual version of the card. Hey Tim, how you going? We've got ourselves the better version of the Kingston drive here. This is the KC2500, which is one of those Black Friday deals that managed to purchase some for the same price as the regular ones. So look at that, free upgrades. Hey Caleb, how you going? So we've got a 2TB WD blue hard drive here. So I think this one is the 7200 RPM.
No, it's not.
It's not. Why not? They all look like this. Where is it? Where is the RPM?
The 72 RPM's got more in one word.
No. They all have this label. They like the picture on the site is like a generic picture.
Oh.
It's like an advertising promotional picture.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. It is. It's literally got no reference to the speed.
Let me see.
It's got the dates. What have we got at the back here? No, nothing.
Look on the end. Sorry?
No, it's barcode and serial number. I would literally have to check the invoice for that. Because, yeah. I'm going to hope that it's a 7200 RPM one.
Well, that's what we.
That's what I would have. That's what. Yeah,
like
that's the.
few days for, because it's the same price, if not maybe a couple of dollars.
Yeah,
cheaper.
it's actually. It's on special, cheaper than the other one. So.
Tim, how was today?
I'm going all right. I'm getting through it. I'm pretty tired. We'll see how I go tonight. See how many mistakes I make. So we got 32 gigabytes of Spectrix D41 3200 megabyte CL16 memory. Already fucking it up. Alright, we've got a Thermaltake 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply here with the 5-year warranty. Ah, nice. Alright, so we got the Deep Cool CL500 case, and we've got 3 RGB fans we're going to be adding to this to make it look a little bit brighter.
You putting them on the front?
So they'll be going on the front. So we don't have a CPU cooler or anything for this. It's not going to need a CPU cooler, so happy days. Well, I don't think we're going to.
A bit of light, you can maybe add some strips.
We could maybe add some strips, but yeah, I
They're
don't.
not much.
I don't think so. I think this is going to be as is. Alrighty. This is our old friend, the MSI B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. Oh, almost broke the glass there. So this board's got all of the features that you would expect to find on a modern motherboard. two M2 slots, USB SATA ports, USB 3. What have we got? A total of two 12 volt and two 5 volt RGB headers. So it ticks a lot of boxes, plus onboard Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So like I said, we're just going to get straight into it. So we've got the Ryzen 5600G here. If I can find some scissors. These aren't the scissors I want, but they will do. And so we're going to be installing our 5600G here, so we'll be using the included Wraith Stealth cooler that comes with it. And I don't have a rubbish box up here, so it's going to get messy here tonight, I think. Now I'll try and keep it as clean as I can, because I'm the one who has to clean it up. It's alright, I just have to put it in a smaller box. And then when that box is full, put that box in a slightly bigger box, and then continue to fill that box. So I'll probably have a very compact packet of waste by the end of the night. Alrighty. Yeah. Hey Donald, how you going? Yeah, haven't seen you for a while, man. Still working security? Late nights, or are you on the day shifts now? Swapping the late nights for the early mornings.
I don't know what's worse.
Yeah, I know.
After doing late nights and then just start doing early mornings, something's really shit.
Oh yeah. Well, you've been doing late nights for years, so that's pretty much. No.
Oh no, the midnight shift.
The midnight overnight shift. I mean, that's the best, the main time for security, right?
Yeah.
So with our AMD Wraith Stealth coolers, they have pre-applied thermal compound, so we don't need to put any thermal paste down with these. Make it nice and easy for people. There we go. So we can seal that cable nicely, you can barely see it. Okay. So it's memory time now. So nice and easy, four memory slots and 4 sticks of memory. So we can't really go wrong here. Don't have to worry about which slot we put them in first or any of that. We can just go ahead and plug them in. I know. You don't have to tell me. Okay, so for our NVMe drive, we'll put it in the bottom slot here.
And it says Xmas gifts galore.
Yep, that is the time of year that we are currently in.
Okay, let's do who's PC.
Whose PC? I don't know the name of the lucky lad. I know his awesome mum's name is Catherine. But I don't believe the young lad knows what's going on here. So I think this is one that he's only going to be watching this in the future at a later date. So, all right. So we've got everything on the motherboard there. We can turn our attention to the case. So we've got some fans, we've got a power supply, and we've got a hard drive. So let's go ahead and take our panels off, which is nice and easy with the magnetic panels on this case.
Tim?
Yeah.
I'm making a PC upgrade this PC. Question is, do I have to supply parts?
No. No. No, you don't have to supply the parts. Let me know. I can order anything. I can probably get it cheaper than you. So.
Tim?
Yeah.
Paul wants to know, he has a quick question before a smoker breaks over. Would you suggest water cooling for his 3080? It's not running hot right now, but I'm about to get into a bunch of 4K editing on 34-inch monitors. What I would ask.
I wouldn't imagine that the 3080 would be too taxed with that. To be completely honest, I don't think you'd have to overclock anything. I don't think so. Because remember that, remember the sort of specs that I'll put into a PC that's just for video editing and stuff, and I won't put much of a graphics card in there.
Even for 4K.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like the last one, the workstation we sent up to,
T400.
yeah, it just had a Quadro T400. The guy doesn't game. The guy just does his work. Has absolutely no need for an RTX card in there at all. So for him, even if he's working with 4K, 8K, he's going to be using 3 monitors with it. But the T400 outputs to 3 displays at 8K, so it's all good. Happy days. The main thing that gets taxed when you video edit is your memory and your CPU. So they're the main 2 things that you want to have plenty of for the best experience. What's that? Yeah. No, I don't imagine you'll have any problems there. Yeah, generally for casual editing, 32 gigabytes is fine. If you're a professional, 64 is probably better, with the potential to go to 128 if you need to, depending on your workflow and stuff. Because if you're just restoring people's old wedding videos in 1080 or something like that, you probably don't need. You're probably never gonna need any. All depends what you're actually doing. But as a general rule, you can't really go wrong with 32 gigabytes for more casual people or lighter users, and then 64 for people who are a bit more serious. Yeah, no, that's going to be fine, man. Not a problem at all. That'll carve it up.
I need to get myself a trophy. Any recommendations for an amateur drone?
Talk to Ray. Ray's right into drones.
Oh yeah, true. Yes. But then there's Ali as well. There's
Yeah,
two people.
but both those people, our good friends, are right into it. So you just ask them what the good one is.
Check that out.
What's that?
Caleb wants to know, can you build me a PC that is good for gaming? And he wants to know how does ZipPay work?
How does ZipPay work? So there's ZipPay and there's Zip Money. So there's two different ones. ZipPay is up to $1,000. And Zip Money is up to $5,000 per transaction. And sorry, got all the rubbish so far inside the CPU box. That's pretty good, right? So with ZipPay, up to $1,000, it's essentially a case of you pay this back within, like, you know, at a minimum frequency. Like, I think it's $10 a week, which can be paid, like, I think fortnightly, weekly, or monthly, depending on your preference. And then it's a case of you just have to maintain that minimum repayment, which is, like I said, $10 a week. It's not much. And then it's just $7.95 a month to have the account with Zip. So that's what you pay for ZipPay. Whereas Zip Money has like an interest-free period. So, like in the case of, like, if you bought a PC from me, you'd have 6 months interest-free. It's a lower account keeping fee, but yeah, you don't have an unlimited period of interest-free, which you will on ZipPay. Yeah.
Thanks, ma'am. I just wanted to know because we and my dad are thinking of upgrading one to a different line.
Yeah, so the only caveat with ZipPay is there is like a transaction fee, so it's not free on my end because they charge me to process the transaction, and it's certainly not it's not a small fee. It's not something that I can just go, oh yeah, I'll just absorb that. I can't do that. It's either I charge a transaction fee for it, or I don't offer it. But charging the transaction fee and still having that option is still preferable for a lot of people. They'd still rather me have that option there anyway.
Tim,
Yeah.
so take a lesson, sorry, we have to get back to it. Have a great night, and Caleb, you can trust him. Have a good night, darling.
Have a good one, man.
Don't work too hard.
Hopefully a nice uneventful night for you.
Indeed.
Oh.
Sounds like you're having so much fun.
Oh, I love screwing these fans in this way. It looks good, but it's really...
When you're making money, you're meant to be like having all sorts of fun, Tim.
You have fun when you...
Remember, smile for the customer.
It made me cough.
Just choke.
That's what I think of that. Okay, so we've got our fans on the front there. I could have done these cables on the other side, but at least the Silverstone on the back is the right way up.
That's all that matters, right?
Oh, it makes absolutely no difference. You're not going to see anything. There's not going to be any impact. It just means I have to get these cables and go, oh.
Tim?
Yeah.
I want to know, just a quick question. If you do a fresh reinstall of Windows, will your games, libraries, e.g. Steam, Origin, etc. and other drives work, or do you have to reinstall again?
You'll have to re-add the games to your Steam account or Origin account or whatever. So there'll be a different process on how to do this for different platforms. So like it'll be different, slightly different on Steam, slightly different on Origin. But just look up how to restore my game drives and you get the individual steps for the various platforms. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. As long as your games aren't on the drive that Windows is being reinstalled on. That's the only problem. If that doesn't apply to you, then happy days. They won't be touched in a Windows reinstallation, so you don't have to worry about that. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the biggest pain in the arse is re-downloading all your games if you've only got one drive. But yeah, if you've got another drive, just look up the individual instructions for the platform that you're using, and it's pretty straightforward. It's usually just like, you know, specify that you've got a Steam folder in this drive, and then as soon as Steam realizes, oh, it's a Steam folder, oh, and it's linked to this Steam account, then it's just like, oh yeah, restoring your games, and then they'll just show up in your library again. They'll just be like normal. But there is a couple of little extra steps there with that. So if you've reinstalled Windows and then you haven't been able to find your games when you reinstall your gaming clients, that's probably why. So just look up the individual instructions on how to restore my game folder. Alrighty. Yeah. Oh, that's too hard. That's too hard a question. You can't ask me that question. That's too hard.
Oh.
Next. No, it's very hard to pick because like there are a lot of cool systems that I've built. Okay, here you go. The best PC that I've built, my favourite one, is mine. How's that? It's got all the parts that I want. Oh, shit. Actually, no. Right now, it currently doesn't have the motherboard that I want. But yeah, it's got a okay motherboard, a for now motherboard. Otherwise, 5 days of loading games.
Just took me 7 hours to download 45
yeah, we do not have a good internet situation in Australia. So we really should have fibre optic cables to everyone's house, realistically. Except for some properties. There are some properties they're really expensive, and the government shouldn't pay for those particular properties to get access. They can pay for access if they want. The vast majority of people should be connected with fibre.
What planet are you living on?
What?
Oh, I'm talking about the internet, and I'm just like, what planet are you living on?
Oh, I'm just saying how it should be. No, I'm saying how it should be. Okay, so now I've got a slightly bigger rubbish box. So the smaller rubbish box can go in the bigger one now. Now I've got a bit more space.
Ryzen says other than KPO can get 59 per second.
Oh, God.
No, that makes me want to cry. That's just not fair.
Yeah. And is that fixed wireless?
Probably.
Because I've heard the horror stories of fixed wireless. I'll get a person every now and then send me a message. What can I do about my internet speed? I go, what's your address? I look up their address and I find out it's fixed wireless. And I'm like, buy a mobile Wi-Fi. Have you got mobile reception? Oh, no. Oh, well, you're screwed. Yeah.
Makes sense. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Gaines. Hey, how are ya? Enjoying your Monday night? Is it Monday?
It is Monday.
Yay!
Alright.
After being on holidays, I don't know what day it is.
Okay, so it's all coming along. We've got our hard drive installed. We've got our power supply installed. We're all ready to put our motherboard in. I'll just sort out these cables back here. So we're going to need our CPU power cable. We're going to need graphics card power. We're going to need at least one SATA cable. But the rest of these guys, I'm just going to stash these back here. out of the way. And for this other SATA cable, I'm going to go ahead and plug in one to our hard drive, and we'll stash the rest of this away. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know, man, I know.
Makes sense, getting a fix before night.
So what have we got? I want to move that fan controller that's pre-installed in the case there. So this fan controller's just got a couple of little case bolts, just like the sort that you tie down your motherboard with. Jesus, they are.
In there?
Yeah. These are like.
Oh, jeepers.
Oh.
That's done by like drill or something.
Yeah, and they've like bent the screws inside the thread. That's like in there.
That ain't going nowhere.
That ain't coming out. That's coming out with the grinder. Okay, so.
Looks like you're gonna have to work around that one. Bum, bum, bum.
I know, though. Okay. So we're just going to plug one device and that one device will be the splitter. We're not going to plug in any other devices. Yeah, we're not going to plug in anything else to that fan controller up there other than this one splitter cable. Because even you can add endless plugs, but it doesn't mean you've got endless power. So you've gotta keep things balanced. Alright, so we got that one controller there. It has a capacity of 4. I never like to load it up with more than 3 based on its power consumption. And now we've just got this one triple splitter just plugged into this first header here, and that's all we're going to plug into that controller. That controller is essentially full now for all intents and purposes. So there's nothing else real easy we want to deal with around here. So we can turn our attention to getting the board in the case. So, here's my screwdriver. We'll need a couple of extra offsets for this. So we are putting a micro ATX board in an ATX case. So most of the holes line up, there's just a couple that don't, and because it's an ATX case, they install the ones that don't. They don't install the ones that don't line up with an ATX board. So that's why you'll see me adding the offset there. So if you're just a casual builder at home and you don't have like the right tool for the offsets, it can be a real pain in the ass to move them around. So get the case right for your board. Either invest in literally all the right tools, or just buy the right case in the first place. Alrighty. So we'll just chuck one screw down here on our motherboard, because we're going to run a couple of cables behind the board here, because we don't want any mess. So starting over the far side here, we have our front panel audio, and we'll just plug that in up there. What else have we got around here? Alrighty, we've got our fan controller here, which I'm going to plug into that header down there. What else have we got to go down the bottom? We've got our front panel connectors. And for some reason one is a very different length to the others, so I'm going to stick that one down first. Okay, got our HD LED, got our reset switch, and we've got our power switch. We don't have the two little individual power LEDs on this case, which I would say is probably a good thing. They are definitely painful. There we go. There's our RGB cable. So now we're just left with USB-C, USB 3, and our power cables. And we've got the other two RGB fans to daisy chain up. Oh, we've also got this back case fan. Very good. Alrighty, I don't have any other cables to run discreetly now, so I'm going to go ahead and tie down the motherboard. Sweet as. So around the back here, we don't really have too much else to deal with. And 3. So they do feel a little bit loose there, so I'm gonna put a bit of tape around them. I do recommend this on any of these 5-volt daisy chain things. If they feel loose, just tape them up, because if not, you're gonna end up having to open it up and tape it up later, and that's no fun. Alrighty, so we've just got this group of thin wires. These just stay there. Excellent. Alrighty. So got our fans and RGB cables here, and they're going underneath this main lane of wires. And all we need to plug in now is our USB-C, USB 3, our motherboard, and we can get our graphics card in here. So in this case, yeah. Oh, not long, man. Like, I have PCs ready for shipping in normally 96 hours from purchase. So, like, it might be longer if I need to get a specific part for your build from interstate. Then you can add, like, a little bit of lead time to that. But as a general rule, yeah, 96 hours from payment to shipping. If I've got everything in Brisbane and it's all good to go, then that's the sort of lead time that you would expect. As for how long it will take you to get your delivery in Sydney, I don't want to make any comment on that, because Sometimes it can be really good and the customer gets it in like 2 days. Like I just shipped one down to Rory, he got his today. And we shipped it on Monday. Oh, sorry, on Friday. We shipped it on Friday and he got it today. So, yeah. It's luck of the draw. He didn't pay for express or anything like that. It's just how it goes. And then sometimes people wait more than a week. But that's just the nature of logistics. Just imagine a big warehouse and there's like all this freight that's got to be moved and like it's constantly coming in and then there's a backlog and then the new stuff just keeps coming in and getting put in front of the old stuff and then they can't even get to the old stuff. That's what happens, literally what happens. And then all that freight that was meant to go out yesterday, we just couldn't get to it. There was too much other shit, we're already at capacity. That's the sort of logistical issues that occur, have been occurring like the whole time with COVID and shit. So.
At least they're doing Saturday delivery now.
Yeah, they're doing Saturday collections and deliveries, which is making a bit of a difference there. Alright, and we've got USB-C on this case, so we'll be definitely using our USB-C front panel connection. Because USB-C is the bomb. And we've got our power cable. Power on. Fully charged. Very good. Alrighty. I'm going to use... It does. But like I said, there is a small transaction fee there. It's not a problem if your purchase is small. It becomes a problem if you're like, yep, I want to charge this $5,000 computer to zip. That's when it becomes a bit more of a problem because it's a percentage, right? So when it's a small order, it's like, oh, sweet as, man, that's like $50. I don't care about that. And then it becomes like hundreds of dollars, and then it's like, okay, serious? So, yep. They don't give me any discretion because of the fact that I'm running a business that's high dollar value, low margin. They just assume, oh, you're a retailer. Oh, that means you make like 30% profit on everything. That's like, yeah, right. That's kind of how their model works. So unfortunately, that's why you'll see various places like I think even Umart, a business that size, they could only negotiate a 1.5% transaction fee for zip. So that's what they charge. So they'd be getting they get a better deal than me because they've got their business behind them as a bargaining chip. Well, we don't give a shit if you don't want to do business with us. Well, we'll offer it to Afterpay. That's how that goes down. So they got bargaining, whereas from their perspective, they're doing me a favour by offering me their services, which they are. I'm not gonna be arrogant and stuff like that, but yeah, that's how it works. So I try to tell people, I try to encourage them, spend as much of your own money on it because that reduces the zip fee. because I'm not paid by Zip, so I have no motivation to make Zip money. The fact that I like offer it to people and explain the product to people means that Zip is getting free sales consultation work done by me because I'm explaining the product and selling it to customers actively. So I'm already doing them a solid. I don't need to be like helping them line their pockets while they're at it. Like, so I've got no motivation there. I wanna help you, you know, get your PC as cheap as possible. So
Best way to pay Tim is direct debit.
yeah, direct debit because there's no fees. It's from your bank to my bank. That's the way we can do it without.
But we still use PayPal as well.
Yeah, we got PayPal as well. PayPal's like there's a fee for PayPal, but it's very small. It's not the same as the Zip one. It's less than half the price of the Zip fee. All right.
Tim.
Yeah.
This only does $300 every 2 weeks.
Oh no. Yeah.
Fair enough, dude.
Yep. That sounds like youth allowance,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I used to get 360.
Yeah, it varies,
that was
but
living
it's
away from home allowance. That was different to youth allowance.
I don't know. Okay, another one of these Asus cards with their magical Japanese origami. It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like it comes in this special, like, entombed packaging, and then you've got these tabs at the back to release the card, and sort of rises up as you fold it out as well. Some old Japanese man came up with that, I guarantee you. Very old, very white haired, and very quiet man, but he came up with that.
So it's neat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. And guaranteed, like, literally no other culture would come up with that particular method of folding cardboard.
probably not.
I can tell it's like the packaging itself is like a scream to Japanese culture, if you know what I mean. So I see it and I'm like, understanding what I know about Japanese culture, I'm just like, yep, this is a Japanese card. This is Japanese packaging right here. Like, absolutely. They take a lot of pride in things like that. They're very proud of what they make. They're very proud of their technology. Mm-hmm. Make good stuff. Alrighty, so let's get this panel off. So I think we're going to be using slots 2 and 3. No, 1 and 2 again. Alrighty, so this is a very similar layout card to the Asus 6600 RX 6600s that we've used the last couple of nights. I can't even get a grip on this film. Wow, felt like stuck down there. Like more so than usual. I peel them off all the time, but that felt like a bit extra sticky, if you know what I mean. That was at the start of the roll, you know, before it got all worn out. Okay.
Is that even going to reach the bracket?
No, it's the same. Like I was saying, it's basically the same form factor card as the ones from the last two nights. So it's like about half a centimeter too short. But these cards don't need a support bracket anyway. So the thing is, it's not the card that gets bent. It's this metal bracket at the back of the card. So if you see your card and you're like, oh shit, it's sagging and it's bending, just take the card out, have a look at the angle that it's bent on the back, and you'll go, oh shit. And then you'll bend it back, and then you'll put it back, you go, oh, it's straight. And what you can do if you've got a really heavy card, you don't have a support bracket, is you can kind of bend it up a little bit, just to give it that little bit of extra force in the metal to counteract the weight. And then that can sometimes lead to it just sitting there nice and straight. So if you're in a pinch and you can't afford a fancy anti-sag bracket for your heavy GPU, that's something you can look at. Because it's, like I said, it's not actually the card itself that's bending, it's not the motherboard that's bending, it's that bracket at the back of the card that's bending. So over time, if you let it sit there on an angle, the card will warp when it gets hot and cold, and it's on that angle. But when you've got your new card, and after like 6-7 weeks you notice it's sagging, that's the bracket on the back. It's not anything else. Alright, so we've got our graphics card power cable to plug in there. So I'm going to go through just this middle slot, which is the same kind of configuration as we did with the last couple of cards like this that we've done in this case.
Tim?
Yeah.
So a PC for me. It will be my first PC.
Oh, really? First one.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, so many people are getting their first PCs like for the first time and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really... Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I sort of thought that more people, like, all, like, used PC. I guess I've been, like, using PC and building my own PCs and building my friends' PCs and stuff since I was... before I was a teenager. So, I've always just been like, oh, everyone's got PCs. But, no, apparently not. You didn't have a couple of tech obsessed uncles like I did to like go and make sure that the family was up to date technology wise. Alrighty, so that looks like a rig. So I'm gonna need one more cable tie here. And that's just because of this magnetic panel that we've got. I just need to make sure that this bunch of cables doesn't stick out too far because it's going to interfere with our magnetic panel. So you do want to have some degree of cable management consciousness in this case. If not, you'll go and put your computer together, and then you'll realise you'll have to rewire it all because the back panel doesn't fit. Yeah. Drone. Alrighty, so check that out. All the rubbish from tonight compressed into a little tiny box.
Except for the stuff on the floor.
Oh, is there stuff on the floor? I thought that looked a bit too good to be true. Well, until we got to the graphics card, put it that way. I could fold that motherboard box up and fit it in here. And that can go in the graphics card box. Yeah. What looks like? Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks alright. Yeah, I got these cases the same price as the Cooler Master, like the little Cooler Master case. So I was like, yeah, definitely. I know I've got some customers who will be like, yeah, I'll take that. We will go ahead and plug in that SSD because we'll probably do a BIOS update on this board. Here we go. Yeah. Yep, it is. It is most certainly alive. Alive and looking good. Yeah. Hey Glenn, how you going? Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. You speak really softly. I was trying to squint and read the writing. Okay. We go to BIOS. And yeah, here we've got version 2.91. Yep. Living the dream. Yep. Oh, we've heard that one before. Living the dream is kind of like a it's a little bit of certainly at Coles and retail places I can attest to. It's kind of like a little bit of a dog whistle. You say living the dream, and what it really means is fucking I'm here. I don't really want to be here, but I need the job, I need the money, so I'm living the dream. And so if you say living the dream, it's you're on the level kind of thing. Alrighty, so we'll get this BIOS on there. Yeah.
With Benzo's or maybe what they won't mention. One can dream, right?
You can't really see the RGB fans on the front. Like, if I tilt it so you can see the memory, you can't see the fans. You see the fans, you can't see the memory.
It's because of the fins.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looked pretty good, man. Yep. Yeah, we'll certainly be flat out for the next month. And so it won't even end with Christmas, because
Yeah.
after Christmas there's like
All the people are right, spent all my money on Christmas, now it's time for me.
yeah. So I wasn't doing live streaming or anything like that. I wasn't doing as many PCs through Tim's PC last Christmas, but to give you an example, I sold 3 PCs on Christmas Eve last year. All to guys in their 30s who were basically like, alright, I've paid for Christmas, everyone's got their presents, all the accommodations organised, everything is sorted. Now I know how much I can spend on my gaming PC. What can you do for this much? So, like, I'm expecting a similar kind of thing this year. Once people get Christmas out of the way, they'll be like, yep, I'm in a more clear financial state right now. I know exactly where I'm sitting. I know exactly how much I've got to spend. Happy days. But then early January, I'll be off for a little while because I've got to do some family stuff down south. I had a grandfather pass away, probably 3 months or so, but he was like nearly 101, so he was well old, and yeah, sort of died in his sleep. So it's not really a sad thing, but because of COVID, the funeral hasn't happened. So we're gonna have to go down for that and do all that family kind of stuff. So I'll be off for a week or two then. But until then, I'm pretty much just building PCs and doing my thing. So it's gonna be busy. I'm probably not gonna want to do anything when I go away. I hope I don't fall asleep at the funeral or anything. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? Alrighty. So that's all sorted. Let's plug in a Windows USB now. We'll go into BIOS and configure our settings. We'll get Windows on it, and we will continue. Yeah.
And so I guess I send you the cards. You decide when you fucking build. Okay, so it's okay, but I'm gonna go. I'll message you when it's okay.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Stream. This is baseball set and it's supposed to be a badge. Bandage, the Despel, the push.
Yep. The Corsair fans are awesome. Like, the customer's always right, but I'm always just like, no, dude, no, no. When a customer wants like the Leon Lee uni fans, they're not all they're cracked up to be, and you could get like top of the line Corsair fans for the same price. And yeah, I'm sorry, but one is significantly superior to the other. Like, you don't have to worry about me. I don't need modular fans to make my life easier, make cable management easier. I don't need that. Alrighty, so I can go ahead and plug in our SATA hard drive. So the reason why we don't plug that in at first is because of a quirk of the Windows installation system. It will always put Windows Boot Manager on drive 0, and that will be whatever is the first SATA device, even though we've specified the operating system to be installed on the NVMe drive. So as a result, you basically need to turn on your computer and install Windows onto your NVMe drive with no other drives connected. Then once the installation process begins, then you can plug them all in. It's fine, because it can't put Boot Manager on a drive that's not connected to, so it can only put Boot Manager on the one drive. And you might be going, why does it matter what drive Boot Manager's on? Well, you don't want to have a hard drive that has Windows Boot Manager on it, because if you remove that hard drive, then your SSD won't boot Windows anymore. You'll have a problem then. So in general, you want to have Windows Boot Manager and everything associated with that Windows install on the one drive. You don't want it different places. That's always asking for problems. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for problems. It's a recipe for you staring at blue screens, basically, and going around in circles as you try to work out the options to make it work again, if you can make it work again. And it can be very scary because you don't have anything, you don't know what to do in the event that you can't make it work again by clicking buttons. Then you're in a situation where you're like, shit, my computer no longer works and I don't know what to do. I don't have internet. What are you talking about, man? This is Australia. We don't have internet. We're all like peasants and shit here. Okay. Now you can have some internet. this might take several minutes if you've got like really old hardware. Here it goes. Alrighty, let's just tidy up this taskbar a bit. Let's unpin that horrible mail app. Alright, that should just download for us pretty much instantly, all those drivers there. They won't take long to download. Whenever Windows wants to actually download it. There it goes. Sweet, was that our display driver just then? Because that was very fast if it was. It sure was. Look at that. Excellent. MSI Center is now replacing Dragon Center. So if you've having any problems with Dragon Center, switch over to MSI Center. If you're not having any problems, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal or anything like that. They're still supporting Dragon Center, but they're transitioning over to this. Okay, so this one is in Brizzy, so I can just set this to the local time. Very good. There's updates, and some stuff to install. Let's go into MSI Center here. Put down some custom desktop icons so we can keep everything nice and organized. Alrighty, so we've got a Western Digital drive, so we'll install Acronis for WD. Acronis is great software. It allows you to make an exact copy of your drive onto another drive. So the Western Digital version only lets you go from or to a WD device. So you can't use it on just any device. However, there is a paid for version of Acronis which you can use for any device. So this is the kind of software that is kind of like a utility if you do what I do. You need this. You're going to get customers coming in who are like, oh, my drive's completely full, can you help me? And so you need to make an exact copy of that drive onto a bigger drive, leaving everything intact, and then extend the size of the initial partition. And you need software like this to do it. Alrighty. Okay, in addition to that, looks like our Microsoft apps have completely updated. Put Ryzen master down here, install that. See how tolerable it is to opening up multiple apps at once. Alrighty. Sweet. Msi Afterburner. We haven't got Epic. Oh, it's conflicting. Then we will move on with Origin. Alrighty. So I don't think there's anything else in here that we need. Got everything that's relevant. Oh wait, wasn't there Epic? But I don't think Epic wanted to install yet. No, it's stuck on that Windows update. It's still called, it's in the background. See here, this this process here, it's called DCV2.exe. You know what DC is, right? Dragon Center. This is Dragon Center version 2. Come on, this is real-time priority for me, mate. Speed it up. I don't have time to wait. Whoa. Yeah, let's just, oh, it's gonna force me. That's alright. I've got to get this out of the way, and I need to get back into BIOS as well. Okay, so I want an XMP profile on, and I want to just make sure all of our fan headers are on PWM mode. There we go. It's gotten about 30% quieter already. The GX601. Oh yeah, I know the case. It depends. It depends on how it's set up. It can be, any case can be a potential nightmare for temperatures. So there's always a configuration that works, but it's not always like obvious. whenever you're ready. Okay, that's all up to date. Sweet. So this was the only thing that didn't install for us. Okay. So we can go ahead and unplug our SSD now. We can set up our hard drive. Oh, what am I doing? Sweet as. And there's our storage drive. Alright, we got another restart to do. And that should be pretty much it. We've got everything installed and we can do some benchmarks and stress test. Okay. Before we forget, let's turn off all this annoying stuff that starts up automatically. Alrighty, so performing as expected, we are doing something with the CPU there. We've got to set up Msi Afterburner. That might be helpful before we run the benchmarks. Okay, there we go. So there's our SSD speeds. So they're about 50% faster than the other Kingston one. It doesn't make a huge difference in terms of like your boot times or anything like that. So we'll run Heaven here in the out of the box settings, which is high, no anti-aliasing, and at 1080p here. And so this number here below gram is the frames per second that it's currently running at. much the end of heaven. Alrighty. So next one we do is Valley. We run this one on Ultra, Max Anti-Aliasing, and this gives us a bit of a different take. So I can't show you what running every single game is like on the PCs, but I can show you these different benchmarks. So while these two are both 1080p, they're both very different benchmarks in terms of like what's being used and stuff. And by running this one at Ultra and the other one just on high, kind of reflects how I'm playing a similar game, if that makes sense. So this is kind of like how Valley, this is how kind of how you would be playing a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 or something like that. While playing first person, you want to have the graphic settings up at high. You don't care if the frames per second never gets over 100. It's not important to you. Whereas the heaven benchmarks more akin to if you're playing Fortnite or something like that. So yeah, like I can't show you every game, every night, just got the story and set up. Just mute the sound or it's easier for me just to run these benchmarks and run a lot of misconceptions. Because you go Yeah, sorry about that. I normally don't talk too much during the benchmarks. Normally like running off and replying to messages, stuff like that. Sorry about that. I was just talking about the differences between these benchmarks. Alrighty, so that was Valley. And the final one we do here is, once again, a different one. It's run at 4K, it's also a DirectX 12, whereas the others were DirectX 11. Alrighty. So that brings us to the final part of the night. Where we do our stress test. Mark. Oh, yes. Alrighty. So we'll leave that there running, and we'll set up Cinebench. A 90-minute run. Alrighty. Sweet as. Alrighty. Well, this is the end of the night, so we let this run for 90 minutes. We make sure nothing's overheating and that there's no other issues. And then if everything's all good, then it's essentially ready for collection by the customer. So I don't think this customer's picking this up for a little while, so it's just going to be boxed up and put in storage. So it'll be all ready to go for Christmas, I guess. I think they're picking it up in a couple of weeks' time or something. So, yeah. But no, all in all, this was a nice, straightforward build here tonight. There was no major issues. Everything installed good. Didn't even have Windows crash on us during our install or anything, which is nice for a change. So, yeah. I'm not too concerned about how the stress test is going to be. We haven't even hit 60 degrees on the card there yet. It looks like we're going to be settled in there. Well below 60 degrees, look at that. And based on how I've got the fans set, this is only like, we're like 80% on the fans, so it's not even like a full ball or anything. Alrighty, that's the point of the night where I throw it over to anyone who is still watching at this late stage. If you've got any other final questions for me, now's the time to speak. Yeah, same. No, that looks like it's pretty much it, I think. Alrighty. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.